Hello, hello, welcome, please come in. It's time for the start of a new series, and that starts here in our first game, Demon Souls. And many of you may be wondering what a jack-of-all-trade run even means. Or what, huh? And what this series is that all my stats must be equal, at all times for the entire playthrough. First limiting factor is that unlike other Souls games, Demon Souls does not actually have a class where all stats are equal, which, yes, I should have checked before selecting it. But I did not, so we're gonna need to wing it a bit at the beginning. So I performed a rigorous statistical analysis of how many levels it would take for each of the starting classes to have equal stats, and it was actually a tie. Both Priest and Hunter require the exact same number of levels to equalize their stats, and so I have chosen the Priest, who starts with decent armor, a nice shield, and a healing miracle, which can really help save resources, especially with grasses being consumable. Anyway, now that I've died to the Vanguard Demon, it's into the first level 1-1. And I can't actually level at all yet, which is fine. Basically every class can handle the early section if you play well, which, to be fair, I often don't. But my primary initial goal in this video, aside from getting access to leveling up at all, is going to be getting all my stats to the same value. My biggest two concerns with this run are going to be durability and damage. I would normally prioritize the best scaling stat of my main weapon, but obviously I can't do that. I have to level everything equally, meaning whatever weapon I choose, my damage will be not great. More on that later. And of course, the biggest concern is health. You really should prioritize getting more health in FromSoft games, particularly early on, so you can tank some hits. I do not have that luxury. Good news is I can grab the Cling Ring to at least boost my health in soul form, just in time to die and have to run all the way back. The challenge hasn't even started yet, and it's going so great. This surely won't turn into a nightmare. Yeah, don't worry about me, you just stand there, doing nothing, idiot. Okay, I think it's time to switch over to the longsword. I prefer this moveset over the default mace I had. No idea if it's actually better or not. Thank you, dragon, I appreciate you. Okay, nonsense done, and it's into the phalanx fight, which is very easy thanks to all the fire bombs I've picked up and a nice pine resin. Alright, back to the Nexus and chat with the Monumental, and I have unlocked leveling, which means it is time to start pouring points into my worthless stats to start getting my levels evened out. It's gonna take a little bit longer to get there, though. Alright, back to Boletaria for World 2-1. I could actually go to any of the base worlds, but this area isn't too difficult, and the Tower Knight should be pretty easy regardless of my bad stats. And getting through the area is also mostly easy, except this one section where a pack of wolves have made it into the tunnel. Get away from me. Ugh, canines and a FromSoft, always a nightmare. Sir, can you not? I don't know what it is about these stupid knights, but I feel like half the time I parry and kill them immediately, and the other half I just cannot function for some reason. No idea what's wrong with me. First, we kill the archers, a slow and tedious process, then hack away at the Tower Knight's ankles, an equally tedious process. That even stat distribution hasn't even really started to be an issue. And Pine Resin is more than strong enough to attack buff at this stage in the game to make my damage pretty good. And although souls mean even more levels, still not quite equal across the board, but we are getting closer. And with World 1-2 completed, it's time to head for the mines, which in retrospect might actually have been a mistake. These miners are very resistant to all my attacks, and until I get all my stats equal so the challenge can properly start, I can't really justify spending souls on anything else, despite how much I want to. Fire Paper helps a bit, but it's still not great, and nothing is super helpful against the wolves. Stupid wolves. Oh, I forgot to actually ride up this elevator. Let's take the lift up to deal with this stupid fat official. Wow, this is taking so long. Maybe this +1 battle axe will help me? Can't hurt at least. And another fat official. These guys are so obnoxious. What's a gold coin? Have I seen one of these before? Am I losing my mind? Anyway. Ooh, pickaxe. That might actually be useful. Yep, that damage does look better. That critical animation is also a lot. And another fat official. Hooray! You can actually skip most of these, but I always forget which ones drop the official's armor set, which I will need all the pieces of for later. Much later. These lizards are difficult to take out without reach. Or a bow. Oh, right, I have a bow. But I do need to kill these for the dragon scales I'll need later. And that's the shortcut, and I've reached a better blacksmith. And while I did just say something about not spending souls until I get my levels evened out, I am going to upgrade this pickaxe. My challenge, it's fine. Yeah, that's damage closer to what I want. God, these lizards are such a pain to deal with. So glad I chose the priest. That extra healing is surprisingly useful. Yeah, no worries, Zeph. Don't bother dodging. You have plenty of health. You can take it. Seriously, pass me. What are you doing? Okay, cave successfully navigated, and it's Spider Demon time. And this fight is not actually that difficult, even when I dodge bad. The reality is just that my damage with my upgraded pickaxe is pretty good, and I have a perfect block shield, which means I don't even need to dodge the swipe attack. Even if I did, the swipe timing isn't actually that precise, so you can kind of just roll whenever. And while the Spider Demon does love to make me run back and forth in this corridor, it's more time-consuming than difficult. So, another demon down. Which means it's back to the Nexus to do some leveling. So close to even stats. Let's take a look at what these boss souls do, shall we? Okay, I can eat some of these and some regular souls, and there we go! Finally, all even. And they must now remain that way, which means if I can't level up 8 times at once, I'm just gonna have to hold those souls. So, expect some tragedy. Oh, also I have a Magician Catalyst. I should buy some Flame Toss. Magic is very strong, and I expect I will need it. I'd like to go back to World 2 for reasons that will become obvious, but Flame Lurker is going to be a problem. So I think it's World 3 time. The enemies here are pretty durable and my damage is not great, but the good news is they drop Spice to restore FP. And between healing magic and fire magic, I am actually fairly effective now. Good damage doesn't stop me from getting a bit lost though. Seriously, with all the times I've been through this area, you'd think I'd be better at navigating the space. And yet. The good news is that the Mind Flayers only take 3 flame tosses, and that's with my not great stats. Oh, hello ma'am. You sell Brightwater, which is very strong. So glad I can buy that now. Okay, more running around, more getting lost. I think this way is, yeah, the man ball. Don't like that phrasing. The corpse ball? Is that better? Doesn't sound better. This thing is pretty tanky. I wonder if the devs wanted you to avoid it rather than fight it. Oh well, it's dead now. Okay, here we are, the crossbow statue. I don't actually remember the correct way through this area, but it simply doesn't matter, because it's actually really easy to just dodge roll through these attacks. The timing isn't even that precise, just roll twice each time it goes to fire. Up the spiral staircase, that sometimes makes me a bit nauseous, kill this boy because he is a lying little scoundrel, and then this angry NPC who may have a crossbow but can't really cope with me throwing fire. So glad this game has busted magic, otherwise this would be way tougher. Anyway, that all done, and it's time for another boss, the Fool's Idol. This boss takes okay damage from my basic attacks, but this has always been more of a puzzle boss than anything else. So also really obnoxious with the glyphs on the ground that stop you and the lasers firing everywhere. Good news is that I also have lasers, except mine are fire and they deal really good damage against the boss, when I'm not destroying a random bench. And that is another boss down through the power of magic. But before moving on to the next level, I need to pop back to World 3-1. Because now that I have the key I need, I can... Ooh, boosted max FP, yes please, and thank you. That's not actually what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Break, my boy. Time for you to teach me better spells. Back to the Nexus with you. But maybe I should get the resources I need to upgrade a better weapon than this pickaxe. It's only a temporary weapon. I have other plans for that later, but... Oh god, oh dear, oh, hope he doesn't get too mad. Hope he's chill? Time to upgrade the S-Stock to get a bit more damage. Alright, time for World 4, which isn't too bad when you have a shield to block the stupid rolling skeletons. On the other hand, my non-spell damage is really bad. Good thing I have a ton of spice around from World 3, because I'm gonna need all the FP I can get. And too many backstabs gets me the Crescent Weapon. It does give FP regen. On the other hand, the regen is so minor, I'm not sure it's even worth taking up an equipment slot for. Am I gonna do the skip here? No, I'm not good at it, and I don't want to. Instead, I'm going to die to the stupid skeleton in this tunnel. Hello, you have nothing I care about. Moving on. Forgot that trap was there. Let's run it back. Again. This is going great. There are just so many stupid skeletons in these tunnels. I don't appreciate it. Oh, yeah, I normally just run past that demon, don't I? That would explain why I'd forgotten the underground path. Good news is the rest of the area is mostly not too difficult, other than blasting this dude with fire so I don't have to fight him fairly, and it's next boss time, the Adjudicator. A very easy boss that is very tedious to fight. Just slowly circle around, stabbing at his sword wound. Then it will stagger so you can blast the bird with fire until the boss stands back up. Repeat until the fight finally ends. Whee! Still not enough souls to get 8 levels. I could probably just spend some consumable souls though, and yep. That means more levels. Hooray! 14s across the board. Nice? Okay, I think next up it's time to dive into World 5. I'd normally hop back into World 2 at this point, but between poor durability and poor damage, Flame Lurker is definitely going to be a problem. So I'd prefer to wait before I have to deal with that nonsense. But World 5 is also the worst to try and get through. Not because it's at all difficult to navigate, it's not. It's more just a lot of enemies that attack pretty aggressively over bottomless pits that will kill you. And yep, sometimes you just die from a poorly timed stab with a fire torch. And the big guys here are even more durable and even more damaging. They are still fairly immolatable, which I appreciate even when I manage to give myself poison like an idiot. Alright, next boss up is Leechmonger, and this fight sucks. It hits like a truck, which I do not appreciate, covers me with leeches, which I also don't appreciate, and my damage is pretty bad here, even with Enchant Weapon. My basic attacks aren't even enough to outpace his healing. This fight gets very close, multiple times, but through a little bit of luck, I'm able to bring down Monger. Okay, much as I'd love to keep putting off Flame Lurker, it's time for 2-2. The Flame Lurker fight itself is going to be a nightmare, but there's just too much of value here for me to not do it now. But now it's time for some NPC fights. They have big ol' shields, which do not actually do that much when I shoot them with fire from a distance. This gets me a few upgrade materials I'll need later, and then I get blown up. Wow, that starting healing spell really is doing some great work in this run. Hi, Patches. Right, these beetles have way too much health. I always forget about that. My brain just assumes that I'm misremembering, but nope, infinite health. Hooray. And in the tunnels, I get my next big item of note, the Dragon Longsword +1, which is infused to deal fire damage. Now, this is completely worthless here because, fire, but fire damage is pretty useful in most other levels. More importantly, the Dragon Longsword gains strength in part because it doesn't scale off your stats. At all. Meaning it's balanced to be strong and useful with no stat investment. And I can't really do stat investment, so that is fine by me. This sword is my answer to the damage problem. In addition to magic, obviously, because magic is busted in this game, but the sword should be pretty good too. Okay, back to the bottom of the pit to retrieve the souls I lost by getting set on fire, and I get set on fire again. I would love some more health. Just more health, please. Okay, so this is a mistake, and I have 13,000 souls, but let's see what Flame Lurker is like. And wow, that damage is worse than I expected. And the bar was really low. Like, that's barely any yellow. And I didn't even pack any offensive spells. That's gonna be a problem. Okay, first up, I should buy Soul Ray from Frake with the Doll Soul. This is like Flame Toss, but magic element, so it's not completely worthless in this level. Okay, so Soul Ray is actually pretty good here. I mean, comparatively. I can do this. I can cheese this. Because, as I've demonstrated in some prior runs, if you have the Thief Ring equipped and are careful, you can actually lose the Flame Lurker behind this pillar, and then he will just kind of idle. And you can blast him for free a few times, repeat that enough, and you die. Alright, let's do that again. And yeah, some of you would call this cheesing the boss, and some will complain that it's unfair or unsporting of me to fight this boss like this. And you may even be right. On the other hand, I will fight this boss fairly when it gets functional hitboxes, which is to say, never. Goodbye, Flame Lurker. Killing Flame Lurker means I get its boss soul, which I can give to Better Blacksmith to allow me to upgrade my Dragon Longsword finally. I don't have all the materials required, but I can buy shards from this boy, and the rest can be gathered around World 2 too. Oh hey, better shield. Now, technically these firebugs also drop Dragonstone of all varieties, but the drop rates are really low, even on pure Black World tendency, and there are actually enough materials just lying around to upgrade one weapon to max level. I can't actually get them all yet, because this isn't Elden Ring lava, but I can get up to +3, which is good enough for now. Okay, now that I have a decent weapon, let's hop back to World 3-2 to make my way through here. Really wish my spells scaled better. Sir? You okay, bud? Okay, first proper test of the sword, and it's fine, which is honestly an improvement. Reasonable damage. Hooray. The whole area is a bit of a maze, running around towers, where falling to my death is the actual biggest threat. I mean, the gargoyles are also a threat, but they can only hurt me. The fall can actually kill me. And killing these randos gets me one chain down. Hello, sir. Sir, I'll let you out of your cell, and then stab and oh dear, he fell. Wonder where his items are gonna end up. Well, that is an inconvenient location. Oh well, I don't think I actually care about any of those, so that's fine. Moving on. Incidentally, there is no amount of money you could pay me to walk through this swamp. Ooh, Fragrant Ring. We love passive FP regeneration, especially when I actually have a healing spell. And pretty sure these things are weak to fire, so the damage with my sword is pretty good, which is always nice. It's a mage duel, which is to say carefully dodging lasers and then setting things on fire. But I'm the better mage because I brought a sword. And that is 2 chains down and we're back to the start of the level, and our boy is still struggling. I believe in you. Someday you'll be free. Oh hey, the Ring of Avarice. We love getting more souls from enemies, especially when I'm currently holding 56,000 because I can't actually level up yet. I don't think I want to go for the Maneater yet. That can be a pretty rough duo fight, and I'd prefer to go into that fight with fewer souls to lose. Oh, I have enough materials to upgrade my sword to +4? When did that happen? I might be stupid, it turns out. Oh well, that's a damage buff. Oh, I'm actually close to 8 levels. Guess it's time to pop a few souls and woohoo! 15s across the board! And that means it's time for the Dragon God. Because this entire fight completely sucks, and I'm definitely going to die. So I should probably try to lose as few souls as possible. I think the worst part about this fight is that it weaponizes my greatest weakness, impatience. And it does a really good job of that. I do think all these runs are getting me to understand what I can and can't press on this fight though, because it only took me 2 attempts. I never even got hit with fire breath. Character growth. I hate it. I want faster fights. Even the final section is an exercise in patience I don't have. Oh, that gets me Fireball. Nice. We love more fire. Demon God is dead, which means a world down, and it's time to keep chugging along. I still don't want to deal with Maneaters, so let's head back to World 3. I can start by getting tricked by Patches. The NPC is pretty easy thanks to the power of fire. This lets me free this guy who can teach me miracles. World 4-2 is one of my least favorite levels. This walk along the cliffside with rolling skeletons and archer skeletons, and how about flying stingrays shooting spikes at me? Don't we all love that? Good news is that skeletons can't climb over waist-high walls, it turns out. Bad news is the caves are then about the same degree of worse, with semi-transparent jerks shooting lasers, and a Reaper that has decided to hang out where an overzealous attack string takes me with it. Okay, gonna need to get my 50,000 souls back, because I'd like my 50,000 souls. The only good thing is that you actually get a lot of runes just running through this area. I've gotten 20,000 since I started. Oh crap, where did you come from? Just swing, make it work. Okay. Boss time, which is thankfully very easy, after initially nearly dying to a single attack. This boss is blind, and the thief ring means he can't really find me, so I'm mostly free to just take fireball shots at him. Some of his jumpier combos can be dangerous if I'm a bit too close, but it's mostly just keep my distance and shoot until the fight is finally over, after switching on the Ring of Avarice for the bonus souls. And all those souls gets me to 16s across the board! Shiny! Ooh, I should buy Second Chance. It might be useful in some fights. And with the old hero down, I can walk 10 feet and reach the next boss, the Storm King. This fight is just a gimmick with the Storm Ruler. Second Chance is a nice precaution because I do take a decent chunk of damage with each attack, but it ends up not being necessary, which isn't super surprising. This boss is way more spectacle than actually impressive fight. And the souls from that fight get me up to 17s across the board. Incredible, my stats are flying now. Alright, I've put it off enough. It's time for the Maneaters, mostly because I just leveled and then bought a bunch of items, so I'm about as close to 0 souls as I'm gonna get. The run to the boss is pretty short since I've already cleared the path and it's into the fight. Time for Second Chance. It won't help if I fall to my death, but may help if I die from normal damage. Okay, good news is my damage is pretty good, both with the Fireball spell and my Dragon Longsword. In fact, it's good enough that the first Maneater is dead before the second Maneater even reaches me, which means I'm not actually that worried about this fight. Juggling both Maneaters, even briefly, can be pretty tricky. Only having to deal with one at a time is great, and generally means your damage is pretty good. So glad this game has dragon weapons, and magic. Magic is so busted in this game. Okay, well that was easier than I'd thought. So I may as well run to the next boss fight, the Old Monk, which is an NPC fight, making it immediately obnoxious. I do play offline, so thankfully I don't have to deal with another player, but this fight is still pretty annoying. Not really that difficult, though. Okay, that is a third world down, and that means only one world left before the end game. In this area, it can be really annoying to carefully navigate around the platforms and enemies to try and get through safely without being constantly poisoned. However, I actually have miracle access, so antidote means I can basically just run through the swamp relatively freely. I mean, it costs FP, but I have passive FP regen and a lot of bright water and spice. I do still have to do some fighting, and these guys are pretty scary actually, but it's fine. Do I need to unlock the shortcut? I should, because if I die stupid against the next boss, I'll be happy I did. Alright, Dirty Colossus time, and my damage is pretty good, and this boss is easy enough to dodge by just slowly circling it and occasionally running away from its big explosion. So that's another boss down. I always forget how quickly the latter half of this game goes once you get in a groove. And back into the Nexus, it's time to reach 18 in all stats. Hooray! More levels. Next boss is Estrella, but really it's this guy. He's immune to poison, isn't he? Oh well, he's not immune to getting repeatedly parried like a chump. Hi, Estrella. Goodbye, Estrella. Okay, thanks to running around World 2 in the lava areas, made possible with the Burrower Armor, Flame Resistance Ring, and Water Veil, I have enough resources to get my longsword up to +5. So, my build is finally done. Other than maybe another level up, but we'll see on that. World 1 is all that's left, so let's power through. And this area isn't really that notable. +5 Fire Sword and Fireball, and really? That's how you're gonna die? Like an idiot? Sometimes I forget that my dumb decisions get recorded. Oh well, it was a pretty easy run, let's just get back and... So that's 50,000 runes lost. Anyway, no time to mourn the loss, just gotta get back into it. Ooh, the old iron key. I do need that. I should keep going to unlock the shortcut though. And that is, I think, the last official's armor piece, and the shortcut opened. Which means it's time for an errand. Back to World 1-2, where that old iron key can open this door. Down here, I can kill another fat official, grab another key, and free this guy I don't care about. That key lets me open this door. The fat official garb then means this ramp gets lowered, then some chiropractic treatments, and that is Yuria rescued. She can teach me some spells in exchange for boss souls, though honestly I don't know if any of them will actually be useful. Oh well, boss time. The Penetrator. Oh, I actually forgot this guy shows up to help if you rescue him. That's fine though, I've beaten this boss with worse magic damage and worse roll speed. Because this boss is actually pretty easy, just throw some fireballs until you get bored, then hit with Fire Sword until dead. And that means it's final boss time. These 3 NPCs, who easily have more kills on me than every other boss in the game combined. Except this time, where I actually managed to separate them successfully, and managed to kill all of them on the first attempt. Now that's character growth. Alright, nothing left but a quick run past some jerks, ignore a dragon, and it's final boss time. Alant. And this fight isn't usually that scary, but I do need to be careful. He can hit very hard and has a grab move that drains a level, which is an interesting problem in a run where my whole goal is to keep my stats the same. Good news is I can usually get in a couple swings off at each opening, and while my damage isn't exceptional, it is good enough. Next fun thing is when he tries to do his big explosion attack. This makes him very vulnerable to fireballs, which also stagger him out of the attack. And sometimes he wants to use that attack several times in a row, which is very funny. Path to the old one has been opened and it's time for the actual final boss, King Alant, again, but in goo form, which is really just a formality, and it's time to leave. No murder for me today. And that is Demon Souls, beaten with all my stats being equal, other than right at the beginning, obviously, and that was pretty interesting. My biggest concerns going into this were durability and damage, and yeah, those were in fact the 2 biggest problems. Good thing magic is so strong in this game, that carried me through a lot. But I will have more to say about that in the summary video, out in a few weeks. I did want to shout out that I do have a Patreon, linked in the description. I spend a lot of time making these videos, so if you enjoyed the video, want to support the channel, and are financially stable enough to do so, that exists. No pressure though, this channel is free to enjoy for everyone, and will remain that way. For now, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of this, feel free to subscribe. Hey, maybe leave a comment if you have something you'd like to say. But whatever you decide to do, have a safe trip home.